Welcome to Beyond the Closing Table. I'm your host, Michael Martin, and I am here to interview top producing real estate agents, top producing mortgage lenders, and business owners. Today, I'm so excited to have my guest, Gretchen Coley, here with me. We've known each other for several years.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that you're here and spent the time with me today.
Thank you for having me on. I'm excited.
Wonderful. Yeah. So let's just jump right into it. How long have you been in the real estate market here?
Gosh, a quarter of a century.
Okay. A quarter of a
That
century.
sounds really big time, doesn't it?
It's
not as big
that's
time
longer
as
than me. I've been doing this for 23 years.
Yeah.
So you got
I
me
hit
about a year or
25
two.
this year.
Wow, that's amazing. And last year was a big year for you, despite a tough market. I think you closed over 200 million, about
Yeah,
214.
we were up 54% year over year, which is
Wow.
insane.
That is, we
Yeah.
got to dig into that for sure.
Yeah.
And like almost 350 units as well,
Yeah.
right? 200 closings. That's huge.
Great team behind me.
Yeah.
Like, it's not one person. It's the accumulation of many.
Yeah. And you are certainly known for your brand. You work with Compass, but your own Coley Group brand is very, very well known in our marketplace. I want to talk a little bit about that in a minute, but let's talk about, you just said you went up 50% last year. How did you do that in a market that certainly was nowhere near that?
Well, I'd love to give you a very succinct answer, but they're never that easy, right? There is no silver bullet for increasing a business at that scale in a tough market. It's just really the culmination of all of the things coming together. You know, we really took a lot of steps over the past 3 years as we were coming out of COVID, because I got very dialed in on the type of business that I wanted to build. And I started to really put that at the forefront of my mind, the type of people that I wanted to work with, the type of agents that I wanted on my team, the type of infrastructure, our professional staff, those people, like, I got very clear on. And then we got very clear on the training and the coaching that we were giving to our team. I think that has been the biggest piece for us, because when everyone else was focused on all of the crazy news that was happening in the markets, we were already prepared for worst case scenario. Our agents had already been taught and trained and role played on specific systems and conversations and how to navigate around those. And the benefit was that our clients really felt a sense of ease in working with us, and it just made the process a lot smoother. So those things all coming together, along with the branding, the marketing, all of those components, really just, we had that acceleration last year because it just all came together.
So if it came together last year, then obviously you started doing that many years before. How, where do you feel like you got dialed into that?
Well, I came into general brokerage. My career started in new home sales. And I did that for 12 years in master plan neighborhoods, selling for all different types of builders. When I came into general brokerage in 2016, I was really perplexed, because I built a career with people coming to me and letting me value proposition them, tell them about the neighborhood, tell them about the area, where do you shop for groceries, where do your kids go to gymnastics, and all about the house to the benefit of them. When I came into general brokerage, the only people I was talking to when I was a listing agent were agents who aren't buying the house. And so I said, how can I go back to talking to the buyers? And so I started that on YouTube in 2016. And that's really where I started to hone the brand, hone the messaging, and understand what was important to buyers and what was important to sellers, and walk them through what value the listings that I had for them. And I think that was really where it started to.
Okay, that's interesting. So you were involved in YouTube for real estate in 2016, so 9 years ago.
I literally wrote the book on it in Raleigh.
Wow.
Nobody else was doing listing videos professionally.
Yeah.
Like, I started with Tour Factory. We started, kind of writing down like the script and how does this work and what is the flow. And you can go back and look at those old videos, and they're just me standing there talking to a camera. They're really stale, but I loved it. I love talking about how people live in houses. Like, that's such a sweet spot. And so I think it conveyed, and we've refined it over the years, and we still do listing videos for every single house that we list.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter the price point.
Doesn't matter the price point or whether you think it's going to go first thing. Yeah.
Because I think it's so important. Like, we live in a digital age now, right? Like, You owe it to your clients to help a consumer coming into the market understand why that house is incredible, why the area is incredible, and what kind of life can they anticipate living there, because decisions are made online. They're solidified in the house.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't even see the house. So
Yeah.
just really trying to encapsulate the lifestyle is really important to me.
That's great. I think, you know, the fact that you went video that early, it's amazing to me, right? That agents still today don't utilize video, right? I teach agents sometimes on how to do video.
That's great.
I just started doing it, probably
Yeah.
4 or 5 years ago. But the thing I always tell everybody, my secret is, right, don't watch your video and have somebody else distribute it, right?
Yeah.
Because if you do that, it takes out, because most of the time we'll do a video, we'll watch it, we don't like the way we look or sound, and then we just never do anything with the video.
Well, that's a real thing. And what I try to tell people all the time, because there is a real fear of getting in front of the camera, right? But you're in front of the camera every day of your life when you're talking to people one-to-one,
right.
just like we're doing, right?
Mhm.
There might as well be a camera here. Your friends and your family and the people who know you know what you act like. They know what you sound like. They know the funny way your mouth moves when you talk. They know that you blink your eyes a lot, right? They already know that. So just be authentic. Like, the biggest fear I think that people have around video is because they're trying to emulate someone who is so far ahead of them, they can't pull it together. And so they feel inferior. When really what you should be thinking about is, how do you show up as your best self? You don't need to emulate anyone, because if you're starting video and you're looking at someone who's been doing video for 10 years, the gap is so big.
It's 10 years.
Start where you
That's right.
start, right? And just talk about what you know. People, it resonates with people. Authenticity is a real thing. You and I see it all the time, right?
Mhm.
I can tell you a gazillion social media people in Raleigh that are not great real estate agents. They're really great social media people.
There are a lot of them.
I can tell you a lot of great real estate agents who are not on social media anywhere.
Yeah.
So just being authentic to who you are is really important.
I think it is. It's probably a good learning lesson for me too. Was, I want to say it was 2021. I can't remember exactly what year. There's a company called Wow Me. I don't know if you ever heard of this,
No.
but they will help you do videos. So you basically go there and you record. You literally go to this studio in a hotel in Hollywood, right? So I flew
I want
out
to
there,
go
right?
to California and go film some videos.
You're basically it was just so silly that would happen
Uh-huh.
to be there, right? And so they've got all these scripts, and you could kind of create your own. And I didn't know how to write scripts, and so they already have all these formats. So I sat there for a whole day. I flew out there, spent the night. I think I was there one night, recorded stuff, and then I flew out that night. And so I'm recording they are the worst videos I've ever done.
Yeah.
I cringe when I look at them.
Yeah.
I had them on my website for a while, and then I found, actually, they build a website for you, this whole thing. I was like, this is just horrible. I'm embarrassed to look at it.
I think I might have talked to them. I think you and I talked about this
may
a long
have.
time ago.
Yeah. And I was like, this is just like, because it's
Yeah.
the opposite of authentic.
I think everybody looks for a silver bullet. They look for the easy way, right? And while I think there are a lot of great vendors out there who really do a great job for agents, for lenders, everyone, but the best thing to do is just to film where you're comfortable.
Yep.
Are you comfortable talking in your car while you're driving? That's a great way to film. Even though you shouldn't be doing it,
Every time I do that, I get people like yelling.
You
at
should
me.
probably have someone in the car holding the camera. But
Yeah.
think about it, like, as long as you're not filming it yourself,
Yeah.
you're talking to your children in the car.
Sure.
You're talking to your clients in the car. You talk and drive
Yeah.
all the time. That is not an odd thing to do.
No.
And a lot of times you're comfortable when you're moving or talking on a walk. Like, sometimes people just need to move their bodies to get that nervous energy out. I tell people all the time, listen, nervous and excited feels exactly the same in your body, right? You just have to label it correctly. So when I'm nervous and I tell myself I'm nervous, I'm like, wait a second, I am excited. I'm really excited about this opportunity. And it's amazing how the feeling inside of you changes. So if you think about that when it comes to video, be game over.
My daughter's
That's my tip of the day.
I love that. One of my daughter's favorite words when she was a kid was, she created this word, nervous-sided. Right?
Nervous-sided.
That's
I
what she
love
called
that.
it.
Nervous-sided. Yeah.
She would say that all the time. So it's crazy. You saw a picture of her yesterday
Yeah,
with me
she's
playing
so
golf. So let's talk about what your day to day looks like. So you are the team leader in your organization. You maybe explain a little bit about what your team looks like, and then what your role specifically looks like.
Sure. So, when you're the owner of the business, you do it all, right? There's not a phone call that's bad that doesn't escalate at some point to me. And unfortunately, we are working a business where there are a lot of pieces that have to come together for things to go flawlessly. It takes a lot of work, and we deal with humans. It doesn't always go that way, right? So, as the team leader, I am really focused on the vision for the team. I'm focused on where we're going and how we're going to get there and how we're going to support our professional staff and our partners who are our agents. And then parlay that into how do we create a great client experience for our clients. That's something that's really at the forefront of my trajectory. The second thing is I am getting business. Like, I'm going out doing things like this. I am working agent networks to facilitate connections all over the country, which are great for our buyers and sellers here in Raleigh because so many people are coming here. I am working with builders, developers, and I am working through my sphere of influence to earn business for our team. And then we are working on strategies for marketing. And I'm also selling. I'm really kind of paring down my selling a little bit now. So I really am working with only a few people at a time. I'm typically listing on the listing side because I enjoy the process of bringing a house to market. I enjoy the process of helping get that house sold. I'm not as great on the buy side as I used to be because I'm not doing it all the time. And we have incredible agents on our team. So a lot of what I'm doing now is filling my cup up by pouring in to the agents on our team. Like, I love coaching. I love mentoring, and I love seeing these younger agents really grow incredible businesses. It is what makes me so happy. I love seeing our professional staff grow their skill set and accelerate their careers. And that's really important to me at this part of my life. I turned 50. I've got twins that are graduating from high school. Like, I feel like I've grown my kids to where they're ready to go off, that I'm growing my team. We have 18 agents right now, and we have 12 payroll professional staff members.
Okay.
So we are a very payroll heavy team. And what that means is we are very dialed into the client experience. I do not believe that one agent can do everything. I believe that in order to have a consistent experience across the board, we need a listing manager. We need a contract to close manager. We need inside sales who are client coordinators who are calling on behalf of our sellers and our buyers to help facilitate, to bring people to their homes. Like, we don't believe in just putting a house in MLS and waiting, right? We are doing all of the other pieces of bringing that house to market to help to sell it. And we're doing so many things to help procure properties off market for our buyers, because that is a huge piece of our business right now. And I also believe in marketing. So I can't do all of those things myself. So I've created the infrastructure so that the agents on our team can go be agents.
That's
so
great.
they can go work with their clients. They can go nurture them. They can go help them buy and sell homes. And that creates a great client experience.
Do you coach and train your agents on how to, are you guys also, are you feeding them solely, or are they expected to
No.
get their own business?
We want everybody to have a balanced business, right?
Okay.
A balanced business is really important. Just because I've decided that I really enjoy the listing side, that's not for everyone. Most people need to have some listings. They need to have some buyers, and they need to have some team leads, and they need to go generate some of their own prospects.
What's the expectation there? Is there one specifically?
We don't really. I mean, we'd like for them to do, 18 to 24 transactions that are ours a year, and we'd like for them to go out and build their network. And as you know, over time that network builds. Like, real estate's a slow burn, and I think that's what a lot of outside people from the outside looking in don't understand. It takes a long time to build a book of business. You have to be playing the long game if you're going to make an entry into real estate, because your business is really going to develop 4, 5, 6, 7 years down the road. But you need to have systems, processes, and opportunities that can be created for you by the team in order to get you to that place, because it's very rare that people come to real estate because they're sitting on a whole bunch of cash and they don't need to make money for 2 years.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as lending, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, your industry is the same way.
It is very much the same way. And you know, it's funny you said that your business really kind of comes to fruition 5, 6, 7, 8 years down the road. That's if you do all the right things,
Yeah.
right? And if you're doing all the hard work. That's the challenge. I think so many people, and I was just listening to a podcast this morning talking about this too, where so many people, especially over the last couple of years, have gotten to this kind of burnout mode and have basically just said, I'm just going to wait until things start to come to me. And you're just so far behind when that happens.
Complacency is the killer of greatness.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we learned it in COVID. Remember? Like, that seems so far away. But during COVID, our team was still doing a listing video on every single listing, even though 5 times out of 10, that listing was sold before the video ever got posted.
Mhm.
And people used to make fun of me. They're like, why are you spending all this money? Why are you doing all these things? Because I'm playing the long game.
That's right.
And I'm not going to get complacent and think that just because we're in this really incredible market that we can dumb ourselves down to meet the market, right?
Yeah.
And so we accelerated during COVID. And then and we do the same thing at every pivot. But I agree. You know, one of my first mentors told me showing up is 90% of success. And what he meant by that was showing up at the model home, being there, having the lights on, being dressed up, and being ready when somebody walks in the door. That is a metaphor for life, right? If you just show up and you bring your best, when you're out at Starbucks or when you're, you know, talking with another mom at a soccer game, the opportunity presents itself to talk about what you do for a living, right?
Yeah.
And how you can serve them. And you do a great job of bringing value. You do a great job, like through this podcast, you're bringing value to real estate agents. Through all of your videos, you're bringing value to your past clients, to your future clients, through educating them on a really complex process. How can we as real estate agents bring value to the people around us? And that's really what I think is the magic of showing up and bringing your A game and just being ready when the opportunity presents itself, right? It's important.
Yeah, showing up is not that difficult, right?
No.
Yet sometimes people just don't do it.
They can't do it.
It's amazing to me. If you had another job, you have to be there from 9 to 5 or whatever, right? Like so many people, I think, especially during COVID, got used to working in their. Now you guys got to go show property. I think the lenders, you know, used to working in their pajamas and because they could be from home. And it's funny. While my team did work from home, you know, during that period of time, my wife and daughter and I and our dogs were in this office every single day, you know, because I just needed an office environment. I need to be in a place.
Yeah,
to
we
create.
didn't close.
Yeah.
Like I cried on the couch for about 2 weeks because I felt like the world was coming to an end and I had built this beautiful business that was in its infancy and it was just all going to be erupted. And then my coach told me, she said, you got 2 choices. You can dry your tears and get up and go to work, or you can lay there and lick your wounds and you can let everything that you've worked so hard to build fall. And the next day, my foot hit the floor and I was like, I'm going to go to the office. And they were like, you can't go anywhere. I was like, oh, I'm going to the office. And they opened the office back up for us. My team was the only team in our office for 18 months. But
This
we were
is
there.
before you're in your space now.
Yes,
is that right?
that we were there every single day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I built the space that we're in now out during COVID. We moved in August of 2021.
Got
So
it. Yeah.
I knew how important offices were for team culture and for your psyche.
I just wanted to take a quick second and say thank you so much for watching our podcast so far. If you do me a huge favor before you forget about it, to like, subscribe, and if you would, just leave a quick comment about what you think of the podcast. And if you want to share it with your friends, I'd love that too. Thanks again so much. We'll finish up right now.
I can't work from home.
You know, it's interesting you say that too, because I am such a proponent of having an office here. There are a lot of people that have gone basically, and I know some top producers across the market, not our market necessarily, but across the country, that all work from home. And I'm like, I don't know how you build a culture if everybody's at home. Like we have to be together.
And I think what people don't understand, like your professional staff, if you want to grow a career, and I interview people all the time for my team. And the biggest thing that they say to me is they want growth. They want this upward trajectory, but they work from home. So they want to work from home or do a hybrid and they want growth. I'm like, you can't have both. In the beginning of your career, you need to be around people so that you can find things to do that are not part of your job description so you can demonstrate your value.
That's right.
Right? And so it is a catch-22. I respect anybody who can work from home. If you can do it at a high level, I appreciate that, and I respect it. It's just I can't do
Yeah.
it.
I don't mind it every blue moon. And I generally find that I'm fairly productive when I'm doing it, but at the same time, frankly, I just need to be around people.
Yeah, I do
That's
too.
for me. People bring me energy.
Yeah.
I like to bring energy to people,
Yeah.
and being at home is just, it to me, it's just not. I can't make that
If
happen.
I just got to a point where I was like, if I do one more Zoom call, I'm going to poke my eyeballs out. I can't.
It's interesting.
You
So,
don't show up as your best self.
yeah,
Like when it comes to showing up.
yeah,
You might not have eyeliner on. Like I find when I know I'm going to have a Zoom call, I'll just throw a pair of big glasses on and I'm like, am I really showing up as my best self? Right?
Mm.
No.
That's actually, you mentioned Zoom. So, before COVID, I always met with every single client in my office for a
Yeah.
consultation, right? Every single one. And
Which is probably why you've grown.
unless of course they were in California and
Yeah.
being here, right? Then we do a phone call. We actually started utilizing Zoom before COVID for that reason, which was great. After COVID, we literally switched everything to Zoom
Yeah.
and not face to face, just to save the time and traffic from coming to, so we still meet with every single client that's pre-approved, ideally before they go shopping, right? Sometimes it happens so fast we don't do it till after they're under contract, but typically beforehand, so that we can set the expectations, answer questions. I can see them and look in their eye that they're actually getting what I'm saying,
Yeah.
because I can't. So many people, probably in any profession, will get to the closing table or get to the end of the sale, and the client's not as happy as they were, and then the salesperson makes an excuse for why that client should have been happier. And in many cases, they're making assumptions that the client should have known this or that. It's my job, it's your job, and your team's job to educate those clients, because they don't know any better. Even if they bought homes before, they've never bought one in North Carolina. Due diligence is a big deal here, right? They've got to really understand that. So we just feel like it is absolutely crucial to do a consultation with every client,
I agree.
not a phone call. And it's got to be Zoom.
We do that too. I believe in the same thing. Like we want to meet face to face. So if it's somebody who's out of town, we'll do it over Zoom, and we're going through what their goals, dreams, and desires are, what their needs are, and then we're talking about the market, and we're educating them on what this process is going to look like, so that when they're ready, they're prepared.
Yeah.
Right. Confidence comes from education, from time under tension, from doing it over and over and over. So in order for a buyer to step in this market and have confidence, they need that. They need to know that they have someone who's an advisor, because, your business is more transactional than ours. Like it is very easy to look at mortgage as a transaction, right? You do a great job of making that a relationship, not a transaction.
Well,
I think that's one of your gifts.
Thank you. I mean, I have to do that, because otherwise I'm competing against Rocket, right? Or any other online mortgage lender. And clients don't know any better. They think it's the same thing.
It's not.
Right? And it's by far
so
different. It is so different, right?
Oh my goodness.
The experience is night and day in 9 times out of 10.
I can't imagine thinking about taking the biggest loan out that I'm going to pay for 30 years and do that with someone that I can't have a relationship with. I cannot imagine.
It's what we talk about when we're talking about clients, right? When I'm meeting with someone, I'm generally asking, you've got a lot of places you can go get a loan. What's most important to you about picking a lender specifically? And, you might think, a lot of people think that they're going to say rate. In most cases, that's the last thing that comes up. They may be thinking it, right? But at the same time, that's not what they're coming out with and saying. And it's just about digging deeper and finding more. It's like when we meet with real estate agents, what's the most important thing to you about working with a lender? Well, there's a lot of different things that can come up there. I want to back into your brand a little bit. We started that a little bit. You have this brand that I know I've got this off your website, where luxury real estate is a choice every client deserves. What does that mean to you?
Well, I think the word luxury is really overused, and I wish I could find another word, but I can't. I've tried. But luxury is time savings.
Okay.
Right? It doesn't matter how much money we have. We all have the same finite time. We have 24 hours in one day. So a luxury to me is something that saves me time, that saves me energy, because if you think about how many decisions we're making a day now, it's gazillions. Like I don't even know how many it is, but every time you swipe on Instagram, you're making 3 decisions. Do I like it? Do I comment on it? Do I share it? Right.
Sure.
So you think about that. Luxury takes that away. And luxury is being educated to be able to make the right decision for yourself. And so luxury for us is not a price point. It is the experience that is created. That's why we have specialists, professional staff that are on our team that only do one job. And that job they can be really, really good at because that's the only job that they do, right? Agents, one job. They can be really, really good at it. They can learn the market. They can be experts because they're not doing everything else. That's the ultimate luxury.
Yeah, I agree totally. And you know what I found, you mentioned earlier, specifically with the mortgage world that's kind of looked at as a commodity. And your experience is going to be different from one lender to the next, whether the rate's the same or different, right? And for me, it's about creating. I don't know how to offer somebody a cheaper rate and give them a lower quality experience.
Yeah,
right.
I can't do it either.
I cannot do that.
People want me to always cut my rate, and I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't, because if I cut my rate, I'm diminishing my value, and I can't do a lower. They were like, we don't need the video. We don't need, the marketing piece that you're going to do. The house is going to sell in 30 minutes. Well, the moment somebody tells me that, I know that their house is going to be on the market for 30 days. So don't say that ever.
It's like when somebody refers me, so it's a slam dunk.
Oh yeah, great.
I hate that word. Like, oh.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I think service, having advisors is really important to your financial journey. And real estate is all about where you live, your memories that your family makes, but it's also about wealth building. And I think that is the thing that the world has gotten away from, is that real estate is the ultimate vehicle to build wealth. I heard a stat from NAR that said that the average first-time home buyer is 38 years old.
That's correct.
I bought my first house at 22, my first condo at 22 years old. If you think about the delta of all the benefits of tax savings and, no capital gains on your equity,
Real estate,
yeah, that you build from 22 to 38, you've missed a massive opportunity. So I think that's a really important thing that you need an advisor for. You don't just go and throw money into the stock market without getting advice.
Yeah, it is crucial, right?
Yeah.
That you have a person on the real estate side that is really truly looking out for your needs. That the team, right? The attorney is knowledgeable and knows what they're doing, and of course, I think the lender partner and the other folks, right? The inspectors, the people that you guys choose to work with, matters so importantly. And when a client tries to buck that, it just throws a wrench in the whole system, right? Because you don't know if they're working with an online lender, that could totally derail the closing. If they're working with a different attorney that you know and trust, that could make a bad experience. And they don't realize that. And so it's up to the agent, I think, really, truly to coach their client. And I think so many agents leave it to a whim on who does those things.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a lost art in talking about your finances, right? We talk about finances with every buyer that comes through our door. And the biggest resistance I get from agents is that they don't want to ask, how much money do you make? How much money do you have saved? Those are important questions for an agent to understand about a person who's buying a house, so that the agent and the lender and the buyer can all work succinctly together to make sure that that buyer is getting exactly what they need, that they're setting themselves up for exactly the type of financial transaction that they're getting ready to have. Because at the end of the day, it is financial, right? It's in and out. It's a credit and a debit.
Sure.
It's what is your monthly obligation versus how are you going to live in this house? How long are you going to keep it? And every loan's not right. Like a 30-year might not be right for the person who is going to be in this house for 5 years. Maybe they need a balloon.
Yep.
Who knows? It just really depends on the situation.
Yeah.
I think everybody just sees a 30-year fixed FHA, VA conventional, and they're like, jumbo, okay, well, we'll just do one of those. Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot more options out there.
There are, and it takes someone who's going to ask lots of questions.
And someone who understands.
That's right. Yeah. And asking questions is also, I think, a lost art, because so many people, salespeople, become order takers instead of consultants. Yeah. And that makes a big difference in the experience.
Well, the buyers coming in are coming in educated. They've gone to ChatGPT and they put the whole thing in there and they have gotten a spit out response as to what they need to be looking for. It's not always right.
Yeah.
And most of the time it is completely wrong because you didn't feed it the right information. It didn't ask the right questions, and it doesn't have the experience of being in it every day. It's great.
Yeah.
It can give you a great
Well,
platform
it
to start
doesn't
from.
know what to ask you to get that information to change the output, right? So that's a perfect lean into one of my next questions, which is, how are you utilizing AI in today's real estate world?
We were, as soon as I saw ChatGPT, my son introduced it to me when he was, I guess he was 16 or so. He was like, look at this thing. And I was like, OMG. So we have spent around 6 figures educating ourselves and our team on
Wow.
how to use it, how to prompt it, how to use it to do some of the upfront really hard legwork, and then be able to go in and finesse and take the info. Like, we have a lot of data in our business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Data is really hard because it takes hours and hours and hours and hours to decipher it, and 5 people can decipher that data 5 different ways,
Sure.
right? So it's very easy to use ChatGPT to filter data and give us like a summary of that data. And I've done it enough now where I've built the GPT to where it can like really dial that in. So it saves me time. It saves my clients time. We're able to make offers faster, but we're also using it for business strategies, for marketing strategies, for, up leveling the things that we're writing, content, really putting together very detailed proposals, executive summaries, marketing plans. Like, we are using it for every aspect of our business, and except the face-to-face,
Mhm.
right? And we're taking it to help take us to another level. And so I really applaud my team, especially my professional staff, because that professional staff is afraid of losing their jobs to AI, right?
Sure.
We're not afraid of losing our jobs to AI because people are going to always still need us. But my team has really leaned in, and it's crazy now the things that they're using it for. It's really cool to see.
Have you utilized any of the tools when it comes to video or anything like that? Like, I was at a conference recently, and they were showing how you could basically record a video of yourself and then add that to this, I can't remember what software it is. And then you could basically type in the script that you're going to say, and then it's you saying whatever you want to say. I've never used that, but I'm curious.
I've played around with it,
Yeah.
but I haven't used it.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I've played around with it, and they're good, but they're not great.
Yeah.
And I think
And you can change it to any language. It's
I
crazy.
think at some point, that's you can't just be an AI figure, right?
Yeah.
And so I think I have some authenticity issues with that.
Sure.
From my perspective, but I think it's definitely it's come a long way really, really fast, and
And it's just getting faster
it's
and
going to get
faster.
better and better and better.
Yeah.
And so maybe we look at it again in the future.
What are you using any other tools outside of ChatGPT, within AI for real estate currently?
I mean, pretty much everything has AI now,
Yeah.
right? Every Compass, our CRM has AI in it. We definitely use AI for people who are browsing our website, and then the AI
It's
will
like a
pick that
chatbot.
up, and it will chatbots,
Mhm.
but it will also start sending them specific houses that are in the realm of what they're clicking on and what they're engaging with, even though it might not be within the parameters of what they're looking for. We're using AI for video editing. We're using it for, captioned, or not captions, but for hashtags and for some SEO stuff on the back end of our website. We're trying not to use it from a necessarily like our thoughts
Sure.
and things that we think are really important. Those things still need to have such a personal touch, but we use it as an advisor. Like, okay, what are the best performing like marketing plans, for a house?
Mhm.
And we take those and we take some of the things that we may not have thought of, and we figure out how can we implement that in to help a client get a better result with our spin on it.
Yeah. I think we'll continue to see more and more advancements. I mean, obviously we're going to see more and more advancements in AI. It's just happening so fast. It's scary as crap, like, to be honest with you.
I love it.
I do too.
I love it.
But it also really, truly does scare me. Like,
you know what it scares me for? It scares me for my children.
Sure.
Because I do have the fears of the predatory things that can happen to parents. I've got 2 kids getting ready to go to college. But it doesn't scare me from a scale of how much information it truly has. It's so exciting to type something in and be able to get within 3 minutes what it would have taken me 10 hours
Sure.
to generate.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah, so speed is becoming a really crucial thing. And I think that real estate agents who aren't leveraging AI are really going to be left behind in the dark.
Agreed, without
Yeah.
a doubt. I mean, no question. It's like, if you're not doing video, you're, 5 years from now, you're gone anyway. But if you're not utilizing AI, forget it, because it's even faster.
Yeah.
We're going to wrap up here with a couple other questions. Your office is in the heart of North Hills.
Yeah.
Beautiful location, beautiful office. I was just reading this morning, there's a new building that is announced. It's going to become another 20-story building that's going to have, I guess, some sort of, I read
It's
that it's going to have
apartments, yeah.
the apartments, and then those residents are going to have access to a private speakeasy up there or something like that. But tell me, like, what do you feel like there's a two-part question. One is, what do you feel like is the future of the Triangle or Raleigh? And you could even certainly dial into North Hills if you'd like.
Yeah.
And then what's next for the Coley Group
Yeah.
and Gretchen Coley?
That's a great question. I'm in North Hills because I want to be where luxury lives. And that's where it is, right? It's been a great spot for us. It's instant street cred when you have an office, because so many people don't have that overhead. Like, I'm running a business. I am not a real estate agent. I am an agent who is running a business.
Absolutely. There's a big difference.
There is a massive difference in that. And, people are like, oh, you've gotten so big and you just are able to do all these things because you have all this money. No, I've gotten big because I've done the things I needed to do along the way. And I've leaned into my clients and how can I serve them? How can I better serve them? And where can I be that's going to make that make sense? And North Hills has been a great home for us. I think the trajectory of the Triangle is, it is growing at a pace that is really hard to decipher. I think we have so many incredible opportunities coming our way through the global economy that is choosing to call Raleigh home. Biotech, tech, hospitals, like the medical care, the university systems. Like, I've loved raising my children here because they've gotten incredible K through 12 educations, and I've got incredible schools that they can go to right here in North Carolina. I've got one at State, one going to UNCW, and I've got one going to Stanford. So, like, I'm so thrilled with what the possibilities for Raleigh are, and for the Triangle. I think we're going to continue to see growth. I think we're going to see, sports teams wanting to call us home because we've got the metrics. I think we're going to continue to see really great high-level businesses coming in, and we're going to continue to see people moving here, which is going to have a significant impact on our housing market. We're already not following national trends. We are up when they're down. We are consistent when they're really down. And when they're going up, we're going up faster. So I think Raleigh's a great place to live. None of that stuff is changing.
Sure.
The city of Oaks is thriving. The Bull City of Durham is thriving. And I think for the Coley Group, we are really happy where we are right now. We've got a pretty lofty goal that we're trying to hit this year. And then I think we're really just dialing in the infrastructure of the team and trying to improve our customer experience at every turn.
That's great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today. I really appreciate it. Those of you that watch, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time investing in yourself by learning from professionals like Gretchen. I also just wanted to, if you wouldn't mind, take a moment to pretty please go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, and be sure to share this with other professionals you know in the market that might be interested in these types of videos. So thank you so much. Appreciate you being here. Again, thank you, Gretchen.
Thank you so much for having me.
Excellent.